Hello students, myself Amrita Dhar, Assistant Professor of Electrical Engineering Department of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management, JIS Group.
In this video, I will discuss about suitability of three-phase induction motor for traction. This topic is included in Module 4 of the subject Utilization, Traction, Heating and Drives. Subject code is EE/S5/UTHD. Three-phase induction motor. The simple and robust construction of the motor, the absence of a commutator, high efficiency and simple regenerative braking are of some factors which are favorable for its application for traction purposes. I repeat the characteristics: absence of commutator, high efficiency and simple regenerative braking, simple and robust construction are the factors which are favorable its application for traction. Now, however, due to limited speed control, this motor could not become popular for traction uses. But this system was used in Italy and now is more or less replaced by 3000 volt DC system. 3000 volt DC system is replaced by three-phase induction motor. Now, with the development of thyristerized inverter circuits, it now been possible to invert the supply and obtain a variable frequency which could be used for three-phase induction motor, and a very smooth speed control can be obtained, and this motor has bright future in traction application. So, what are the advantages of three-phase induction motor? The first advantage is simple and robust construction. Simple and robust. It is simple and robust. It is commutator free. And simple regenerative braking. These are the advantages. And what is the disadvantages? Limited speed control. This is the disadvantages, limited speed control. But with advancement in power electronics thyristor devices, now this limitation is somewhat overcome. Now, with the advance of the thyristerized inverter circuits, it is possible to invert the supply and obtain a variable frequency supply which could be used for three-phase induction motor, and we get a very smooth speed control. Okay. So, it has a bright future in traction, and three-phase volt DC supply is replaced by this three-phase induction motor. Now, we solve a problem. So, the question is, the tractive effort exerted by a locomotive while hauling a train on level track at 50 km/h is 35,000 Newton. If the locomotive has to haul the same train at same speed on a gradient and the tractive effort required is 55,000 ton, determine the horsepower delivered by locomotive when the motors used are as DC series motor and induction motor. So, horsepower output of the locomotive on level track Ft into V into 1000 by 3600 Newton meter per second or watt. Okay, or if we put the value, Ft is 3500 0 50 is the speed, 1000 in by 3600, and convert it to horsepower. So we divided it by 735.5. So we get the value 660.92 horsepower. Now if we use DC series motors, now first if we use DC series motor, then horsepower is proportional to root T. So this is equals to 660.92 root over 55,000 by 35,000, which is equals to 828.5 horsepower. Now if we use as induction motor, 3-phase induction motor, then horsepower is proportional to T, and this is equal to 660.92 into 55 by 35. So this is equals to 1101.5 horsepower. Okay, AC series motor. Now many single phase AC motors have been developed for traction purposes, but none has survived except the compensated series motors. The single phase induction motors have been abandoned as they are not capable of exerting high starting torque. So a simple version of single phase series motor consists a laminated magnetic field, a laminated magnetic field and an armature with commutator. An armature with commutator. And brushes which closely resembles the armature of a low voltage DC motor. The field winding is connected in series with the armature. When this motor at standstill is connected across AC supply, a pulsating torque T is equals to half K phi m Im minus half K phi m Im cos 2 omega t, okay, is obtained. The mean value of alternating component of torque, that means this half K phi m Im cos 2 omega t taken over a period of the supply current is 0. Therefore, the mean value of torque for a given period is half k phi m Im. Half k phi m into Im. The commutator helps in both cases, single phase and DC motors, to exert a continuous torque. The frequency of alteration of flux and armature current is same in case of DC operation, and thus the torque exerted by any particular armature conductor when under a given pole is always in the same direction. When this same conductor moves to a position under a pole of opposite polarity, the current in it is reserved, and due to the action of the commutator and brushes, and hence the torque remains in the same direction as before. The commutation is thus as much necessary for single phase AC series motor as is for a DC motor. Now, however, the pulsating flux causes heavy coal losses in the field and yoke, and heavy sparking at the brushes would take place, since the induced voltage and currents in the armature would be short-circuited at the time of commutation. The overall performance of the motor is thus poor. Okay. Now, in case of DC series motor, the applied voltage V has to be balanced against the armature resistance drop and the back EMF. That is, V should be equal to back EMF plus armature resistance drop, that is Ia into Ra. Now, whereas in case of AC motor, it is for DC motor. Okay, it is for DC motor. Now, in case of AC motor, the applied voltage V is balanced again besides the resistance drop in armature and field, and there will be reactance drop due to both in addition to rotational EMF. So, next I draw the circuit diagram of AC series motor. This is the field, this is the armature connected in series, and this is the supply voltage V. Okay. And the phasor diagram is, this is the reference axis. We are taking current as reference axis. This is the supply voltage V. This is the back EMF EB. This is I into Ra. Sorry, this should be perpendicular. I into XA. This is Ra. This is the drop across resistance, armature resistance, and this is the drop across armature reactance. Okay, and this is the drop across field. Now we assume no core loss, so the flux is in phase with the current and the back EMF. Okay, the back EMF, the current and the flux all are in same phase. From phasor diagram, it is clear that for a particular applied voltage, that is V, The back EMF in case of AC series motor is less than the back EMF in case of DC series motor. And since field flux remain constant, the same current I, reduction in back EMF in the case of AC series motor results in lower speed than that DC series motor. In other words, the output of AC series motor is less than that of a DC series motor. Now I draw the speed torque characteristics of AC and DC series motor. Speed, torque, characteristics. Torque, x-axis represents torque, y-axis represents speed, this is the characteristics of AC series motor, this is the characteristics of DC series motor. Now from above analysis, it is clear that in order to improve the performance of AC series motor, the back EMF must be made as far as possible equal to the back EMF of DC series motor, and this means that the value of the armature and the field reactance must be made very small. The field reactance can be reduced by using less number of turns on the field, and this is of course in turn reduces the field flux. Now in order to develop same torque, the armature conductors course, in order to develop same torque, the armature conductors should be increased in the same ratio. The net result of this exercise is that the field flux is reduced but the armature reaction is increased. In order to decrease the effect of armature reaction, a compensating winding either in series with the armature or short circuited on itself. So I just draw the diagram so you can understand better. This is the field winding, this is the armature, and this is the compensating winding. Okay, the field winding is in series for AC series motor. This is the armature and this is the compensating winding. This is the compensating winding. This is the field. This is the armature. Okay, now we are using compensating winding. In this case, it is conductively excited, and in this case, it is inductively excited. Now, in case of inductively excited compensating winding, the neutralizing ampere turn are all provided by transform action from the armature winding, but due to some losses and due to presence of air gap between two windings, the neutralizing ampere turn so obtained will always be lower than the armature ampere turn, and therefore an equivalent fictitious armature reactance will always remain effective, and the method however has a distinct advantages over conductively excited winding. in that number of turns in the winding need not to be carefully chosen. Now, however, the present practice is to use conductively excited compensating winding because of its better performance. Since the conductively excited compensating winding because of its better performance, since the compensating winding nullifies the effect of armature reaction, the power factor of the motor is thereby improved. The power factor of the motor at low speeds is poor as rotational back EMF at low speeds is low, and hence the supply voltage has to be balanced against some small rotational back EMF and the impedance drop, which therefore will be relatively large, and hence the power factor is poor, and these motors are normally high speed motors for same reason, for better power factor. Now, keeping in view the above factors which contribute to better performance of AC series motor, this motor for traction purposes have a large number of poles, small air gaps, low flux per pole, moderate flux densities in the magnetic circuits. Compensating winding are provided to neutralize the armature reaction, and commutating poles are required for better performance in terms of higher efficiency and greater output from a given size of armature core. I repeat, the factors are for better performance of AC series motors: large number of poles, small air gaps, low flux per pole, moderate flux densities in the magnetic circuits. Compensating winding are provided to neutralize armature reaction, and commutating poles are required for better performance in terms of higher efficiency and a greater output from a given size of armature core. The adoption of low frequencies such as 162/3 or 25 Hz instead of 50 Hz results in improved power factor, higher efficiency, improved commutation, better starting performance, and fewer poles for a given output. The higher frequency results in higher leakage reactance and hence has a higher, relatively poor power factor. The weight per horsepower is greater for the higher frequency because of the large dimensions of the motor. The 50 Hz motor have steeper speed torque characteristics as they operate at lower flux densities than a 62/3 Hz motor. 62/3 Hz motor. This results in fewer voltage steps at starting, and the division of the load between parallel connected motor will be less affected by wear of the driving wheels. These motors are used on mainline services. These are not used for urban and suburban services because of low starting torque and poor power factor at the start. So that's all for AC series motor. Now,
That's all from today's class. If you have any problem, please contact with me. My contact details is given on the first slide. Thank you.